Hey, what's up, guys? Austin back here from another video. It's been a minute since I've uploaded. I've realized that I'm trying to do like 2 videos a week now. I'm working again and everything like that. But no excuses. You guys need to know how to catch fish just like right now. Younger people just like myself, I ain't never seen this kind of weather. The roads is awful. I ain't never seen ice on the road like this. But here's some things I think would work if you are wanting to go fishing. Not many people are. I'm not. But here's just some tips and techniques that you can try. So number one is going to be for my power fishermen. You like your crankbaits and chatterbaits, spinner baits, Alabama rigs, and stuff like that. So first things first, Alabama rig. I would throw it just like this. I'll throw it just like this up until I quit throwing an A rig. And when I quit throwing an A rig, it is going to be summertime. But I know people still catch them. So this here, dummy. Well, I was a dummy. Got it hung up in my bed and ripped my swim bait to get it. But I'm definitely going to be swapping that out. I'll go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and rip that off. The heads I like is my signature. Well, not signature. I make them. The hand heads, and also I like my double ring round ball, and that's just because still up on there. So what I like to do, I like to look at my A rig. You find the top, which will be right here. Put lighter ones up here. Put a middle weight one right here, and then put heavier ones on the bottom. That way it runs just like that through the water. Make sure your line tie is actually good, unlike this. So make sure it's about center of your A-rig. I cannot keep these things from hanging up. I hang them in everything but a fish's mouth. So that's going to be an A-rig for a power fisherman. My setup on that is a 7'2" Shimano Corrado heavy rod, and I've got a little loose classic on here with 20-pound Suffix Pro Mix on there, monofilament. Number two is going to be literally what everybody fishes now. I see more people fishing this technique now than I did when I first started tournament fishing. And that's a jig. All my rods is rigged up for springtime because I'm not going to be fishing till spring on the lake. But that's just going to be a jig. Right there I have a Chester Wooten Signature Series jig. And then I have a Bandito bug on the back by Guggen Baits. But I would throw a half-ounce jig football head relentlessly. If you are a big jig guy, I would jig fish. My setup on that is a 13 fishing Fate Black 7-1 medium heavy. I know I ain't a good jig rod, but that's all I have right now. So you gotta make do with what you have. I have a 701 Quantum PT Energy on here. That PT is a 11 bearing. Well, I think it's 11 bearing system. But the bearings don't matter, specs or nothing. Another way you may try it, I don't think it'd work, is a jerk bait. Jerk bait would be about the last bait I'd throw right now. Unless it's an extremely deep diver and you're fishing it extremely slow. Now, you big high-end fishermen out there, you may think I'm crazy, but If you got them big bass boats and them big nice graphs and stuff, use them. Use them this time of year. If you got down imaging, use it. If you have had a live scope, use it. I would take this right here, just a small little lipless crank. Keep one treble hook on and put that little blade on the back. And that's simply because your weight's going to be up here. When you cast it, you load up that rod, your weight's coming back, and then when you throw it, your weight's going back here. But then when it hits the water, it's going to go tail in, but then it'll start fluttering. And that blade, it turns. So I would actually just drop it down. I look at my graph, take it, drop it down, and just barely ease it. Barely. So these is lake techniques. I'll go over pond techniques for this time of year in a second. But I would do that. I would also drop a Deminky down. One of them little 3-inch, well, about 3-inch Deminkies, I'd drop that down. I would drop a spoon or a silver buddy down. This time of year, you do not want a lot of action. Now, here's something that I fish a lot this time of year. A floating fly. Right there, I just have a solid yellow one. You can tell fish has been eating it up. But I'd just drop that down. Well, I wouldn't drop it down. I'd cast it out there, let the ripples of the water just take it. Because believe it or not, the ripples of the water is actually going to provide enough action for that, if you know what you're doing, for a fish to hit it. I would do me a longer bobber leader. I'd probably get me a long rod. That there's 7/6. I've been literally keeping my bait down there at my reel and just kind of tossing it out and just letting the wind take it. So that's another way. Another way, what do I have rigged up here? Is, you hear me talk about it all the time, swim bait. It's going to be a swim bait and an Ed rig. Now, I'll tell you what, this time of year, I'm a weird type fisherman with a swim bait, believe it or not. You're probably saying, how can anybody be weird fishing a swim bait? You literally throw it out there and reel it. Well, this time of year, I don't put a swim bait head on my swim bait, if it's just one. I use a Z-Man head, and it's a reason for that. I cast it out there, let it go to the bottom. When it's on the bottom, that tells us to go back and forth. Then you can also just do it like that. Every little thing you hit is going to make that tail go crazy. Another way is a turd and a shaky head. I put them in about the same category. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 9 techniques. First thing I'd try is the Alabama rig. I'd fish it medium depth. By that, I mean, if you're sitting in 50-foot water, I'd be bringing it through at 20-foot range. Then I'd go down to 25 and 30. So that's about as deep as I'll fish an A-rig. I know a lot of people fishes them 40 plus deep, and I'm just like, how do you do it? I ain't figured that out yet. But A-rig, then I'd try jerk bait. Well, no, that'd be my last resort. A-rig, jig, swim bait, that floating fly, Ned rig, shaky head, and then after that, I'm just going to start dropping down the fish. So, jerk bait, it's an honorable mention. That's kind of what I put it in, honorable mention. But you're going to need all the luck you can get. I'm not even sure if I could go out and catch fish right now. It's just that tough. Now, by no means I'm a professional or anything. But the best way to catch fish and have fun, right here. You rarely hear me talk about picking this up, but you control her. Thus, get you a fishing game, get you a game that you enjoy. I love playing Fortnite. My gamer tag is Austin Space N 2777. I suck at it. I'm only level 126. But I love playing Fortnite. So that's what I'm doing right now. Another tip, keep the bananas out of the boat. Keep them out. So that's about it. I am going to go over some colors I think would work on my floating fly this time of year. And that's going to be like orange and olive. I think that'd work great. This here has some blue in it. That's more of a springtime, kind of like a sun perch color. I use that at the river. White and blue. That's a good color. And the standard, let's see here. Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. This olive with a little bit of blue. And then your typical colors like pink and white and chartreuse and stuff. But I am working on a new color. It is not going to be out to market. But if you ask for them colors, I'll make it. But I'm not selling it in any stores. I'm not promoting it in any kind of way. I'm not even going to show it until I actually start catching fish on it. Everything I've showed you all, or anything I promote that I make, just like this peacock perch, I catch a fish on it before I promote it. Because I want somebody not to be like, well, that looks good. Well, a lot of things look good. But do they catch fish? So, anything you see me promote, my swim bait heads, different colors I come out with or release, I've caught fish on it. I can honestly sit and say, I've caught a fish on it. So, another way to catch fish is walleye and crappie fish. That is popular right now. Seems like you don't want it right now. When it's icy, you don't want to go, it's terrible out. That's just how they are. But nonetheless, honorable mentions, a tube. I don't really know when to fish a tube. I'll flat out tell you that. So, I mean, you could try it. I wouldn't go with your tube magnums or nothing like. If I can ever find it. I wouldn't go with that big thick tube. That's more, well, I already got salt on my finger. But I wouldn't go with that this time of year. I'd throw my smaller finesse tubes that's skinnier and everything. That's what I'd throw. Not sure if I'd even hit a tube. But that's an honorable mention, I reckon. Some tips on your swim bait. Keep it simple. If you're going out there looking to throw half ounce, something like this, you may as well stay at the house. And I'm not just saying that, I know that. But if you can go out there and catch them on that, hey, let me know. Because I'm missing something. The bus has done left me. What I'll throw this time of year is small. Small as I can get. So like, you'll see me picking up that rod with 4-pound line, throwing something like that. I don't go over a 1/4 ounce. And a 1/4 ounce is heavy to me. So that's just a little tip there on that. Another thing don't throw your big swim baits right now. I know a lot of people catches them on it, but I don't. I am telling y'all personal experience, what I've had luck on, what I do and stuff. If you're looking to throw that big a head on a 4.3 inch, this is cut down, Like, that looks good, don't get me wrong. Like white with black eyes, black and silver body, that looks perfect. But I just ain't had luck on them. The smaller the better for me. So that's tips on swim baits, tips on Ned rigs. Go light. Kind of the trend of the tips. Now the jig is the only thing I will throw a bigger one of right now. I'm not really caring what color it is, because honestly, I wouldn't think I'd be catching that no way. But I would throw my darker colors, black with red or red and brown or something. I would not be throwing my bright colors. I would stay away from something like that. That's more of a spring and a fall type crawl. Your gill colors, like swim jig stuff, I'd stay away from also, because how many fish do you see that's roaming and swimming right now? Not many. Many is a stacked on rock and trees and stuff, trying to keep warm. Heat is, well, how can I say it? Rocks and trees hold heat. If you're fishing in ponds, more of a tree type deal. If you're fishing lake, more of a rock type deal. It just depends on the type of structure and everything like that. So that's all I got for lakes. Now let's get into ponds. I'm going to go through here quick and easy. So, number 1, Alabama rig is out. No go. Number 2, your jerkbait is out. No go. Unless it is a small one that don't dive real deep, because chances are if you're fishing in a pond, it's not that deep anyway. I know of one pond that I fish that's 20 foot deep, and that is a big pond. You can't get to the middle of it. So chances are you're going to be hitting bottom and stuff like that. So jerkbait, no go. Crap, I forgot to mention, back up, put in reverse and back up. Lake fishing, you could try a crawl colored crankbait like a rock crawler. I highly doubt you're going to do any good on it, but that's just an honorable mention again. But back to ponds, so put in drive and go forward. But what I'd throw in a pond is a jig, a Ned rig, and a shaky head, and a floating fly. Floating flies are going to cover that middle type water column. If you're coming by some structure on the side, then that's just staying there and aggravating that fish. So that's why I like a floating fly. A Ned rig, you fish it real slow. You lose a ton of them, but you catch a ton of fish on them. Shaky head, just a little bit bigger presentation if you are looking for that bigger bite. And a jig, that would be what I'd throw. Because a jig, it just invites a bigger presentation. And that is like a fish that's just annoyed by it. You keep running it through there, and it's coming through there real slow. You make a cast, let it sink, and you just drag it. Just drag it. So, that's about what I'd throw in there. But my top ones for a lake would be number 1, try Alabama rig. And if that don't work, I'm probably going to throw a jig and a Ned rig all day. Ponds, Ned rig, and a jig all day. So, I know the lights keep flickering. I don't know if you're seeing that in the video. It's the weather and stuff. I know people that's power's out right now. I'm just blessed enough to have lights and heat right now. I'm not sure if they go out tonight or nothing, but fingers crossed it won't. But that's why I'm going to throw another tip: downsize your line. I can't stress that enough. Downsize your line. You will be shocked how much your line will actually help you throughout your fishing, not just in the winter, but in the fall, spring, and fall. Because not a lot of people fishes a light line. Not a lot of people fishes 4-pound line, 6-pound line. Most of you people picks up a spinning rod that's braid to fluorocarbon, and their fluorocarbon's 8 and 10 pound line. Them bigger fish can see that. I don't. I have one reel with braid, and that is if I am absolutely, positively have to have it. That's frogfish, and they're throwing in something I know I shouldn't be throwing in. But everybody's different. But thank y'all for watching. I didn't try to keep y'all too long. I know I'm pushing 20 some minutes, but thank y'all for watching. And y'all be sure to check out Dogpatch, Saddlebrook, Kurt Singers, and also Tackle Spot. Make sure to let me know if you need any baits or anything, or swim bait heads. That actually helps me out to be able to put more content out, because I actually want to do like a bunch of challenges. So that also helps me out, and it helps me help you guys out. Because number one, it helps me put more content out. Number two, it helps me get more material where I can give back. I am cheaper than about any store, and I just want to give back. Because I was once a high school angler that didn't have a lot of money. Still don't have a lot of money. But I remember going in stores having to reach in my wallet and literally empty my wallet out on what I needed for one tournament and have to do it all again. That ain't a good feeling when you're broke. But what can you do when you're a hardcore angler? But thank y'all for watching. Make sure to, if you want to play Fortnite or anything, or if you have an Xbox and you play about any other game like Red Dead, GTA, or anything like that, make sure to add me. But outside of that, thank y'all for watching. Y'all be sure to take care and have a blessed day.